Welcome, everybody. Today we're going to talk about Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas, the Pumpkin King. Those of you who haven't watched my review on Rick Martinez, I already talked about Nightmare Before Christmas, the first movie, and the sequel, Oogie's Revenge. This one explains about the backstory, how it all began. To not leave too many texts on this one, the story is plain and simple. Jack Skelton was basically a skeleton before he became the original Pumpkin King, which he already has. And we get our main villain, Oogie Boogie, and his lackeys, Lock, Shunk, and Barrel, are doing dirty work for him to capture Jack Skelton. And so we can meet him. However, the catcher Sally, Dr. Finkelstein's first creation, which in the near future will be Jack Skellington's love interest. Also, I like the cutscene in opening in this game. It looks pretty neat. It looks like earlier Divine artwork, like from 2005. But this one came out in 2004, or I might be right, 2005. I barely looked at it. And again, the game begins. You play Jack Skellington, and who is the main character, which you only play as. Yes, throughout the entirety of the game. First of all, the animation on Jack Skelton looks great. The way he moves, the way he's animated, the way he would die and get a game over screen is perfect. Or do a little Kirby victory dance. Also, I like how the sun has the jack-o'-lantern in the background, has a face on it. There's even pixelated characters. Yeah, even though on the Game Boy Advance it's all pixelated. It has all the interesting characters from the movie. Everything in the background looks perfectly well done. And the music is kind of, and the word for it, meh. It's alright, and I guess, but I do like how there's like the victory dance music. And to do this review as quickly as possible, so I won't make like 2-part videos out of this one. And let's talk about the music real quick. Like I said, the music is kind of dull at times with the boss music. It doesn't feel like it has that much energy into it. Some of the sound effects are okay, but sometimes it can be rather annoying to hear it play over and over again. I do remember seeing this as a kid in one of my PlayStation 2 games of videos before we got actual DVD release of them. I would say some of the bosses don't look that bad, but they're kind of like, having the word for it, kind of boring in sort of way. Yeah, I'm not kidding. They actually made like the Nightmare Before Christmas for the Game Boy Advance a bit much of a boring thing to do. And there's obvious reasons why. Hey, let me explain. This game kind of relates to Castlevania or Metroid. just one of those where the beat do I go kind of games. Without looking up, like, the entirety of the gameplay. This is pretty much one of my most favorite or least favorite things to do in most video games. Without looking up on YouTube like most people do. I would say the level designs are actually not that bad, but it can be almost shallow at times. To this game's credit, you can use like a frog's breath, or shall I say frog gun, as a weapon. And Jack Skelton can dash his fire. Or, you know, the main title is called Pumpkin King for a reason. Let me just go ahead and say it. I find Oogie Boogie's Revenge a little better compared to this game, because it kind of relates to Devil May Cry. On here, you're just basically, in the word for it, getting to the very end of the gameplay, until you beat each level. Sure, you get like explosive pumpkins, pumpkin range, ability to stretch and go flatten, and in most places. I would say this game is okay, but the coolest thing about it is the front cover. It's one of those games that has one of those cool, flashy things. I forgot what they're called. It's been a long time since I've seen those. It shows like Jack being a skeleton and then becomes a pumpkin king. Again, to not make this review like almost twice as long. This game doesn't have that many cutscenes. I'm not kidding, this game does not have that many cutscenes. Just toward the opening and towards the end. But speaking of the end, and I might show you that right now. Here, Jack Skelton finally meets Oogie Boogie after facing his giant insects, X and spider, and snakes. And this final battle looks pretty interesting if it wasn't for the dumb music. They keep reusing Oogie Boogie's theme music throughout the entirety of the game. Sure, this looks awesome and all, but I bet Kingdom Hearts did it way better. There's another thing I didn't say about this game. You play Jack Skelton, and he's super tall compared to the other platforming heroes. Almost makes it halfway difficult to get to climb here and there because he is very tall, and skinny. What make it rather annoying and almost time to control the character. There's also minigames that are not that very exciting. Not that I would say this game is bad, but someone I know from his old website finds it a boring game, but I do like the graphics on the characters. Again, this is actually not a terrible game, but when they make games based off good classic movies, it's a rather or a good idea or a bad idea. Also, those red lines you see are Jack's health. If he loses all of them, he'll eventually die. And you have to continue the game based on checkpoint on where you are at. No, I gotta admit, this ending looks pretty awesome. it does take place before, or it's Christmas time, before you actually met Cyril the dog, which I forgot to mention he does meet later on in the game. And finally meet Sally at the very end of the game. So I give this game like a solid 4 out of 10, being a below average game. I just wish they did more cutscenes out of this game. And I would say it's not a terrible game, I just wish there would have been more animated cutscenes just like this, with this pumpkin explaining a bit of backstory, how it all began. All I can say is, if you're like a huge Nightmare Before Christmas fan, this game will be for you. If not, then just stick with Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogie's Revenge. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys around when I talk about another interesting, long-forgotten horror or kids game, or very realistic, terrifying in-game in the near future. I could have ended my review in less than 10 minutes, but it's already been 12 minutes into this entire review of me explaining the whole entire thing. That's basically all you do, is just get to point A to point B. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys when I review another long-forgotten game that deserves to have more spotlight and more views, and most people could at least talk about this game in probably next year in the, well, near future. So, see you guys around. Oh, those of you who are watching this on October 31st, happy Halloween to you all. See you then. Good night, everybody.